Kia ora from beautiful Aotearoa, that is to say hello from beautiful New Zealand. I'm Career Break Guy, taking a break tonight from my corporate life to hopefully finish the new One Ring Overhill and Underhill starter set. It's been so long since I've started that they've actually shipped the box itself. I've received my copy, and I got to say I am in love. I love the One Ring products anyway, but this one is beautiful. Standees, maps, books, rules, character sheets, dice that are printed correctly. They had some issues with the old sets, and I've got one of those. So I've got new dice which work, and just once again a really quality product. The One Ring products I think are just a level of quality even higher than most Free League, which I think are pretty good. Anyway, so final adventure, final part of the adventure. So I'm going to turn this on. We had Duinhir, who is our ranger, my main character. Again, I'm using the Moria rule, so I've got one character who's my main character, and then I've got a bunch of other characters who just form a group, my company, my fellowship in the Moria style. We've got Fimbrethel, an elven scholar, Gera, a barding captain, Mentha, a hobbit treasure hunter, and Regin, who's a dwarven champion. As you can see, we've taken a bit of damage, gotten into some scrapes when we were trying to get into this cave. The whole adventure, and by the way, massive spoilers because this is hopefully going to be the last session, and hopefully you've watched the other two. If not, there'll be links somewhere, probably in the description. We were sent on a mission to investigate an evil that a hunter had found, and we went to that place. We found a pit full of corpses. We were ambushed by goblins. We went into a town or settlement nearby of hill people, where we met some children who were not very helpful. They were very scared of us. We tried to bring them, we tried to talk with them, but we weren't very convincing. Probably worked better if you had a full playing company rather than this Moria style. So they ran off, but we managed to make our way to this cave anyway. Weren't doing the best in navigating our way through, got into a few scrapes, but now we have come up to, and I'm going to read from the book now, so I'm going to be looking down this way instead of down at my screen, where I had the PDFs. So we've come up to the Goblin lair. So what happened is we had a success roll, a 6 on one of our success dice, when we were doing our travel, and as such, it's ended up we've ended up at the top entrance. Now, I should actually have a copy of this that I can show you. That's where we were before. I'm looking at page 13. That might be too far. Here we go. All right. Again, the art in the One Ring, I think, is some of the best in Free League as well. Right. So this is what the company has seen. I'll read the description. Again, I'm doing a solo play so that I will sometimes read what's in the books, just kind of skim reading to see if there's anything that I need to deal with immediately. Otherwise, I'll try and declare what my company is doing. And then as I go through those, I'll see if they've triggered any additional actions. It's like the DM yourself way of doing it, except I'm doing it for non-5e game. Right, so we arrived at this goblin lair, and the description says, the flickering lights of fire and the echo of guttural voices signal that you have at last reached the lair of the goblins. The heavy stench that fills your nostrils confirms it. Let's see, so we produced one or more of the success icons, so therefore we've hit the high level tunnel, which is number 2. We've shown up here. The secondary passage has been neglected by orcs and ends roughly a dozen yards above the cavern floor. Okay, so what it is we are very carefully going to be hunkering down and trying to take in a situation. We're going to see, we're going to see, is there patrols? Is there orcs or goblins around? There was captured people, so we're going to see if we can find the captured people. We're going to look for any advantages there might be not in the picture, but there might be stalactites or something, tights at the top, that we could drop, or we were going to be listening out. And because we're so far up, we're also going to be seeing if we're going to be looking to see if we can find a way down. So that's kind of how picturing us acting. So I'm going to read part of the book to see whether that's something that we can actually do. So let's see, it says that we can reach the ground by climbing down steep broken escarpment, which will require athletics rolls. And if we fail, it'll alert nearby orcs. Okay, so we can see that we can get down, but it's going to be a bit difficult, so that's one option. Looking around, what kind of things can we see? The number one, let's just go around the room. As we glance around the room, and we just so happen to glance in a somewhat peculiar order, right to left. I think most people would probably look left to right. So we've got the main entrance. So the main passage into the lair opens into an elevated stone ledge. We can see a goblin archer carrying a horn. There's more in that sentence, but I think that's what we'll notice. Okay, so there's a guard over here with a horn. Need to be aware of that. We're in the high tunnel. 3 is pelt huts. So we can see there's 2 groups of goblin archers and orc soldiers here. Each group has 2 orc soldiers and a goblin archer, an equal number to the player heroes -1. So, I mean, arguably there's 5 of us. So let's say there's 2 orc soldiers and 4 goblin archers in each of 2 groups, and let's say there's 2 groups, so we'll have one. Now let's roll a dice. So we'll go 1, 2, or 3. Which kind of group of huts they're near. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we'll just roll it twice. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's a group closest to us, and then there's another group that we'll re-roll because it's 2 groups. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's a group here and a group there, and then there's that goblin with the horn over there. All right, what else do we see? So this trench is a prisoner's trench, and we see about a dozen villagers. It says that they're from Cran, which is the settlement that we visited, but we don't know that. So we just see a dozen people in a deep trench encircling the base of a central stone column. The trench is 3 yards deep. It's a yard. Sorry, we use metric in New Zealand. Making escape almost impossible without assistance from above. That's fine. Rickety ladder lies near the edge. Oh, yeah, that's actually on the picture as well. Right over there. Along with buckets of slop used to feed the prisoners. And what else can we see? So there's the stone column itself. And that says maybe if I bring this over here. Now it looks like I'm looking at you a bit more. So I've also got a new mic, so I don't know if the sound is going to be any better, but I think it also picks up sound all over the show. So the wide stone pillar supports the cavern's vaulted ceiling. As if it was destroyed, the whole place would collapse. Well, I don't think we're going to be able to destroy it. And we can just make out a large ominous opening. Entrance is ringed with sharp stalactites and stalagmites. Oh, there you go. Oh, and wargs occasionally emerge from the passage, but the orcs seem to not be going near it. So I guess those 2 sets of orcs that are in there are clustering more around this end and not closer here. Okay, so now we've got a bit of a view as to where everything is. I think, okay, so what we might need to do is from where we are, I think we can probably got a few archers, a couple of archers, and I think similar to what we did on the bridge with those 2 orc guards, we're going to try and hit that orc with the horn who's sitting at number 1. Maybe if I put this down, is this going to make too much of a noise? I don't know. It's in front of my screen, so I can't actually see my mic levels anymore. Okay, so from up here, we are going to try and strike the orc, the goblin with the horn over here. At that point, I think we're going to try and sneak down. Someone will have rope, so we can try and lower a rope. Have the couple of archers at the top covering down in case a goblin or someone turns around. We can try and shoot them. And then once at the bottom, the people at the bottom who will be our melee fighters. Duinhir, Regin, probably those two to start. We'll kind of hold them off whilst, I guess we'll just do a pitch battle at that point. The ones at the top will have advantage for firing. The ones at the bottom will just have to try and deal with the melee. We only noted 4 people in melee. It's mainly archers, so it shouldn't be too bad. And I guess this is similar to saying that there is two patrols maybe, which is one thing larger than a patrol using the Moria rules. Let me just look that up. This is in case we get into combat. Just trying to think about it a bit earlier. I believe it is here. So a pack. Might 1, resistance 6, which is roughly twice what a patrol is. Okay. So that's good to know. I might just bookmark that as well. I love that the One Ring books have bookmarks. Anyway, so we got that. So that's it. The general plan is try and kill that goblin, then sneak down, and engage these people. And yeah, we'll try and quietly take out these ones if possible. And then we'll have to try and circle around to quietly take out these ones. Or as quietly as possible. I mean, there's quite a few of them. But it's just the ladders on this side, so we can't really get to that without dealing with them. Okay, we'll do that. I think it's too far to try and get from here to that central column, even with the rope. I don't think our rope is that long. Okay, so let's start. Let's start with our roll to... Sorry, I'm just choking myself with my chain here. Let's start with the roll to try and kill that goblin. And just double checking what I did here before, I rolled a... Yep, I rolled battle. Did I roll battle? Maybe I rolled battle. Yep, we're going to roll battle, and we're going to give ourselves a little bit of a bonus because we have an advantage. Sorry, war. That's it. So we'll do a feat dice, success dice. We've got a... I think if need be, I might spend a... Because elves have an ability where they can get a magical success if they spend hope. So I might just back pocket that. Because I really need to kill this guard, I think. I don't know what happens if I don't, but I suspect it's not good. We're going to do this, and we're going to give ourselves an extra d6. Oh no, we're going to roll it with an advantage, which is not called an advantage. But I'll roll 2d12, 1d6, aiming for a 16. Seems unlikely, actually. Have I got anything else I can do? No, I guess, let's just give it a whirl. 10. 10 is not enough. So again, like I said, I'm going to spend one of my hope. And community? My fellowship, sorry. And I'm going to say that the arrow's loose, and the first one thuds right next to the goblin, who turns to see where that came from. But in turning, Fimbrethil's arrow just straight between the eyes, and he drops with minimal noise to the ground, so not alerting any of the... Oh, I really love that, but not alerting any of the other orcs, goblins or orcs. All right, so now we're going to climb down. There was rules for climbing down, so let's just see what they say. Oh wait, so there's a little thing here. So adversaries when they arrive. Yep, 2 groups of goblin archers and soldiers, which you know about. They're not expecting a fight, so we can move unnoticed if we're careful. Okay, so that's good. Goblin at the main entrance did not spot us and was not killed in the first round of combat, and was killed in the first round of combat, so that didn't do it. There's a quick thing reading saying raising the alarm, so just seeing if we've already triggered something. So now we're going to have to roll our athletics climbing down from the high level tunnel, and if we fail, that will probably set them off. And okay, if they're alerted, then the goblins will call in for help. Right, so what we're going to do, athletics. I'm going to give us D6. We've got a rope. Makes sense that we have a rope. Did it actually say on the high level athletics for each player hero? Right, let's roll this. Nine, that feels good. 17, no extra successes, but fine. So, hand waving a little bit. Duinhir gets down. I'm saying that the other fighters get down. But now let's just do a little roll on our maneuver just to make sure that the others, our archers, can get down as well. So D12. 1, 2, 3. Actually, maneuver, we get an extra. It's advantage. 10. Yep, there we go. 22. Easy. Right, so we're on the ground now. And the orcs have not noticed us at this time. So we are going to sneakily. So there was 4 goblins plus 2 orcs. What I'm going to look at is we're going to wait for a moment when we're going to try and pick them off one by one. And instead of doing a full 1-by-1 combat-y type thing, I would like to roll I guess a clash. Maybe if I roll battle. Which I fairly certain... Oh, no, he does have. So I'm going to roll battle. Regin's got some lore about how they work, so he's going to help give us and guide us. And also Gira is going to provide a bit of guidance as to leadership, as to how we're going to approach this. So we're going to roll battle to effectively start a fight and then see how well we can will achieve this. Gandalf. Who doesn't love Gandalf and his success? So what I think that is Duinhir, he has a dagger, and he draws that, and Regin also draws his, Gira draws his, Fimbrethil and Mentha are ready. Oh, maybe Mentha is also there with her dagger. And as a group, they sneak through these around the huts and wait until they can find that the orcs are in 1s and 2s. And they, when they have a moment, make sure that no one else is looking, they just grab them, cover the mouth and give them a stab, pull them down, hide the bodies, Hitman style. And yes, with the great success of Gandalf and an extra success, I think that's the entire group. So that first group is down. So initially I did say that I wanted them to take out one group and then try and move around to the second group. But now I know that this entire top half or back half of the map is clear. That said, they did say that wargs were exiting every so often. So let's just roll a dice, roll a d12, and on a 8 or more, then a warg comes out. I'm really glad a warg didn't come out. This is actually going well so far. Okay. You know what? We're actually going to try and repeat this process. We're going to try and ambush the second group of goblins. Same again. We're just going to circle around. I guess we're going to have to circle around the whole way, staying out of the fire as much as possible, the light of the fire. And yeah, we're going to try and remove these goblins in the same way. So let's roll this battle again. And this is what I love about solo role-playing, is that you can just kind of, you know what, no one else is complaining about the rules. You can complain about the rules in the chat if you want. Say how you would have done it differently. In fact, if you think you would have done it differently, I'd love to hear what you would have done. As a sharing experience. This is just how I've decided to do it. So let's roll this. Again, success. And with that, I got a D6. So I think what we'll say is that I think out of interest is that we've got most of them. However, one of the orcs does actually spin around and sees Duinhir, or Duinhir is close enough that one of the orcs hasn't been killed. And so I'm going to do one round of combat. Because I've already got my success, I'm going to say that, you know, if need be, Fimberthil arrow again, very timely. But I just want to roll one round. I just want to have a round of combat. This orc soldier versus Duinhir. So, Duinhir is going to go into a forward stance. It means he gets an additional die, but also he gets an additional die used against him when he tries to attack, when the other creature attacks. So he's going to run in using his sword. He gets an extra dice because he's being forward stance, quite aggressive. You know, this orc has been alerted, and so he needs to try and end this fight quickly. So he springs forward with a success, which will do sword one-handed. I'm just going to say, you know, he draws a sword in a flurry. So 6 points of damage. And this orc has endurance of 12. So it's going to do a round with its scimitar. So it has 3. Do D12. 3 for the scimitar, plus 1 because I'm in a forward, or Duinhir's in a forward stance. What is that? What's that, a 12? It's a 12. 12 is a Gandalf. So a Gandalf is a 0 for these creatures. So what have we got here? We've got 5, 10, 14. What is his parry? His parry is 18. So the creature has noticed them. It maybe heard one of the other goblins let out a bit of a startled, and it spins around. It starts drawing its scimitar. You know, it wasn't prepared for a fight, but the instincts kick in. Duinhir sees this, draws his sword, lunges at it, and he strikes it. And the creature is kind of overwhelmed at this moment. The forces of good effectively have charged in, and as such, he's distracted by this. Doesn't manage to land his blow. Duinhir swings around, but again, as I say, I mean, it would be fun just to run one more round of combat. Okay, if you insist. Again, forward stance. So Duinhir's going to roll with the additional dice, but then additional dice be used against him. Yep. He gets a success. He gets 2 more. He's going to use that to... Well, I mean, if he does piercing damage, then it's just going to end this orc. So, yeah, he leaps forward with his long sword and strikes at the orc. The orc tries to bring its weapon to bear, but has just this overwhelmed feeling. They are craven by nature, and so, you know, its heart isn't in the blow. And Duinhir uses that opportunity to throw another thrust through the creature and drops it. The others circle around ready to engage as well, but of course now the fight's over. And we did that without alerting anyone, which is excellent. But you know what? Let's do, again, 8 or more. A warg has, at a horrible time, come out of that cave. Love to see it. Okay, so I don't know how many wargs there are, but however many there are, they're still in the cave. We have an opportunity now. So going back there, no, there were people in the pit. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to post up. Fimberthel is going to stand by one of these huts, but looking down into the tunnel. So she's going to be our guide now. We'll know if a warg is coming or anything like that. But the others are going to quickly grab the ladder, swing around to the side here to be not immediately in the sight of the pit. And they're going to put down this ladder and, you know, communicate to these people that, you know, they're here to help. And they need to come up. And then, is there anything in here about actually releasing the prisoners? The orcs are automatically alerted once prisoners all climb out. Well, that's great because they're all dead now, so they're not very alert to that. Yeah, so there's a moment, and Duinhir and Co, his company, they get these people out and they explain to them, hey, look, we're tracking you. We went through your village. We saw there's still some children alive there. They were safe when we left them. We've come to free you. And is there anything else that you can tell us about what is in here? But otherwise, also, look, there's some orc swords and goblin bows if you want to grab those and head back out of this cave system as best you can. In fact, if you climb up the rope at number 2, you know, this is the way that we came in. They described the path because everything was cleared out in that way. But at the end of the day, they'll leave it to the people to decide where they want to go. And the prisoners are able to tell us a bit more about what's here. So I'm now going to read. I saw that there was a name. Gareth. So what they do is they tell... That's right, I was putting it over here, wasn't I? Oh, by the way, yes, the book. Love it. They tell of a giant warg which had stuck its head over the edge of the pit, and also the goblins and orcs, they heard them telling about it, talking about it, and how eventually these people were due to be sacrificed to it or fed to it. So yes, it's an enormous warg, which must be the leader, they assume. Yeah, it's in charge of this area. The goblins here at its mercy, good graces, because they provide it with food, but they know not to cross it. So what else can I see? Just having a quick squiz through here. Again, here's the thing. When you're doing a solo game, there might be things that you miss that you would otherwise notice if you're a lore master with a party. It's fine. You might need to retcon something slightly, but in a solo session, but let's see where we go with this. Okay, so they say that, yep, that it is down the entrance that had the stalactites and stalagmites, where we did notice that a warg had come out of before, and they said, yes, there's wargs down here. Gareth does come out sometimes. She's a she-wolf, a she-warg. The orcs just refused. They wouldn't go in that area. The people don't know what's in there, so I'm just going to skip over the description. Okay, so they don't know too much about it, but we thank them for the information that they provided anyway. They thank us, of course, because we got them out of the pit, and sometimes it will show I edited my videos. That's terrible. And they agree. Look, they've been down here. They were attacked, beaten, they're tired. They're not going to be useful in a fight. So they will take their leave, and we will head towards the cavern entrance. So just going to say the hillfolk are done. Made a friend with the hillfolk. They might come back if I ever use these characters again later. But yeah. Okay, so we get to this cavern. It's the air is warm and smells of wet fur, and also of rotting meat. So it is just a portal to death and danger, and we can tell this. So we're going to be very careful, slowly making our way down the tunnel. Very cautious, aware that at any point creatures might come out, but if we can try and at least scout the area, get an idea of what's there first, and then go from there. Okay, so as we go into the tunnel, what we will find is that there's two openings, one on the left and one on the right side of the passage. So, and then also beyond the openings, the path continues deeper into the earth. So, we see two passages. We will look into, we'll look into them. We'll look in the right one first, keeping an eye. So what I will send in Duinhir, of course, and Regin will be with him, maybe Mentha, but the other two will kind of watch the other chamber or other passage. We're going in on the right. Okay, so the chamber to the right is occupied by the bones of a massive warg. It gives a name, which is great as a lore master if that ever came up, but I don't know why I play whatever, how I play whatever in this. But anyway, massive warg bones. And embedded deeply into the thick skull of the fallen warg is a spear, and looking at it, it's very clearly of elven make. Dust is on it, but it still holds that kind of unearthly glamour, and it still looks sharp. It's got a name, but you would never know. You're not going to talk to it. So there's a little side note which says that whilst Graf doesn't actually expect people to come into her tunnel, she can detect the approach of an elf or ranger. So I think we've got a brief moment, and then the others are going to be like, hey, something's coming. So we're going to take this this spear. And when we bring it out, you know what? I'm going to say that Fimbrethil, she's an elf, and also she's our scholar. She sees that the blade is etched with leaves and flowers of aconite and bound in ancient elven runes. So she actually takes a moment. We don't realize at this point that Graf can smell Fimbrethil and Duinhir. So she looks and she says, explains that this is a weapon of great history and power. It's known as Nornaith. it had the Bane of Wolves and a keen runes to increase its sharpness. The spear causes, so mechanically, she explains it in a very flowery, poetic way, but Duinhir is, and he geared they're far more practical, even region, very more practical. So when they're hearing this lovely description, their mind is going to the fact that, okay, so this is going to get a little easier to pierce things with, mechanically 9 or a 10 instead of just 10. Oh, wait. Or on a result of 10 minus a value equal to the bearer's valor. What? Ah, our valor. I think our valor is just 1. Valor? Valor? Valor 1. Okay. So it's the same thing. So a 9 or a 10, the spear would be able to... I can use the spear. That's good. 9 or 10. So, I mean, he's already got his grievous longsword, which I think I put a note on. No, yep. +1 to your strength rating, +1 feat dice, numerical result on a pierce. So he's got his sword, but he's going to give this to Gira, who, because she's not actually a character, I can say can use this spear. Regin has an axe, and unsurprisingly is all about it. And Fimberthil, who would maybe more appropriate to use it, is not a fighter, so she recognizes the value in giving it to Gira. Anyway, so what happens though is we hear movement from inside the cave. And I'm just going to read this next part. Gareth, the Fang of the North. So from the shadows steps forth a creature you might have thought only existed in nightmares. She stands as tall as a horse. Wow. Though far more savage. Her fur is ashen grey like a death shroud, and a pale yellow light glows bright in her one good eye, while the other is dimmed by a scar from a long-forgotten battle. Her lip curls back in a snarl, revealing fangs as long as daggers, frothing with rancid foam. A voice that is both raspy and chillingly clear, she speaks. Who dares tread into my den and threaten my servants? Yeah, so I guess what happened is, they just saw something, and it turns out it was that glow from the one eye, and they were kind of preparing for it, but didn't attack immediately, similar to how they faced the other wargs. So who dares tread into my den and threaten my servants? Duinhir will, I mean, he seems fair. He's going to announce himself. That he is Duinhir of the North, and he has been sent here because, they have felt the touch of the shadow in this area, and have been sent to protect the people of the lands. Whether the company answers or remains silent, Gareth's reply is the same. My teeth have crushed the bones of the princes of Arthedain, and I devoured the flesh of elven warriors. She says this very pointedly, looking at Fimberthil and Duinhir. I will feast upon your bodies while they are yet warm. For I am Garaf, the first hound of the Witch King, the Fang of the North, and men scatter like leaves in my presence. And with that, she lunges. Including any wild wolves, see previous page. How many wild wolves should there be? 2 wild wolves. Okay, so what it is we have ourselves a fight. This is, she's going to count as a arch something. So that's the other book. Can't even tell if that's in there. Art. It's not the usual art, but still glorious. Or is it the usual art? That might be Martin Grip. Okay, that's the rulebook, but I don't need that one. What I do need is the Moria rulebook. By the way, this just won an any for the best product, I think. But also cartography. It is gorgeous, and super useful, especially if you're a solo role player. For the One Ring, if you're a solo role player for any other game, it's probably pretty useless. So right, this is a patrol because there's only 2 wargs, but she is absolutely an arch foe. You know, maybe you've got a lesser archfoe or a greater archfoe. Let's just say that she's a greater archfoe because we're either going to win this or we're going to lose this. But I've run out of rules in this book, so this is the final fight, the final countdown. What we will do is we've launched into the fight, but I'm going to roll battle as you do for a clash in the Moria rules to see if we manage to get ourselves in an advantageous position as she was coming up. So Duinhir, roll your battle, my friend. I'm fairly certain that's how it goes. Battles, advantages, complications, objectives, clashes, war parties. Yep, so it's 0-3, but she's greater, so it's 1 and 6. Might resistance 1-6. Put might 1 and resistance 6. Here we go. So I've got the handy now. So first of all, we will get in position. Who triggered the battle? Was it our band? Was it their band? We were preparing to make a battle roll to see whether they did still catch us by surprise, because we saw her, but we didn't see the other 2. 10. Okay, so we're taken a bit surprised. So we're going to lose a dice on this first one. What we will do is Duinhir is going to kind of learn his lesson. So he is going to work to remove the 2 wargs that leapt first, and then all of them can come to bear against this great she-wolf. So he is going to fight rather than duel. So let's just roll ourselves a swords. Modified by the group's might, so TN plus 1. Modifier 1. Roll. So we need 15 or more. Oh, that's not enough. Fails. You failed, jeweler. If successful, reduced by 1. Nope. No success icons. If your roll fails, roll 2 success dice, add them together, and then that's my endurance loss. Please be low numbers. You know, he lunged, the wolf has lunged at him, and he's trying to swing to, oh my gosh. That's awful. Okay. So he was taken by surprise by these wolves. He was too focused on she-wolf Garaf, and so these 2, one of the other 2 wolves just kind of grabs his arm, spins him around. Ugh, take off 12 endurance, which makes him weary. So 1, 2s, and 3s on his rolls no longer do anything, and that's a really awful situation to be in. Okay, so now we pick the stance. We're going to be in a guarded stance because just for this round we've been caught off guard, so we're going to be a bit more defensive about it, make sure that Fimbrethil and Mentha are protected. We're going to roll a favored clash roll, and success dice are ignored, so war 1. 12. Yeah, boy, there it is. All right, so we got a 12. And what that means is that's a Gandalf. That's a great success. I'd love to see it. So success, you gain 1 success to spend on the Clash success table. And we will use that And thankfully, we didn't get a Moria. An Eye of Sauron. Ooh. Oops. Didn't get an Eye of Sauron, so that's good to know. We will use this to ooh. I'm just reading some of the things. What you can do is if you get a Gandalf, which we did, we've made we've got an advantage. So we'll get an extra dice for an advantage, but because it's a Gandalf, we're going to make it a permanent advantage. So I think what it is Duinhir's had a bad time of it, but the others, I think, wielding the spear, it's infuriated them, but at the same time, it's caught them off guard, and also we start hacking away at some of these stalactites. The fierceness of the battle. It's actually causing, because they're a bit larger, and also the wolves are used to being more of an open space. Fighting in this confined area, we've actually got an advantage permanently, which is excellent. So now what we'll do is we go into the next round of combat. We're going to get an extra dice on our war roll from now on, which I'd love to see. I am going to say, we get -1 because of the archfoe. Okay, I'll remember that for next time. So we just roll the 1 dice. Although bold, proud leadership, fierce Willie, I'll give a bonus dice for that. So we'll roll 2 dice still. Okay, we got there in the end. Right, so again, Duinhir is going to work as part of this team, so he is going to fight normally. Where does sword go? Swords. Modifier 1. Don't want to see the Eye of Sauron, but 16 was enough, including success. So he gets to reduce the foe's resistance by 1. And also, he gets to add 1 to our clash die. Good to see. So now we're going to roll 3 dice. So what it does is he kills off one of these wolves. The one that's on his arm. It sees a spear, and again, it's momentarily distracted and uses this opportunity to great overhand slice and remove the head from this beast. And the other one lets out a howl, as does Garaf. She lets out an absolutely bone-chilling howl. And now we'll roll our battle roll. So D12 plus, as I say, normally 1d6, but then we've got skills which I think would add. So 2d6, -1 because I have an archfoe, +1 because we have the permanent advantage, and then +1 because of Duinhir's extra success in his fight roll. Hopefully we can capitalize on that. 17, okay, we got there. But the main thing is we got 2 successes off that. So, got a success, and then we've got 2 additional, so that's 3 in total. What we will do is we will we'll reduce the resistance by 1 point for each success spent. So we needed to get... so we've killed off the wolves. That spear, the arrows, Regin happily with the axe. They take down that second wolf, and now it is just us and the archfoe. So what we're going to do pitch fights. If you face a single foe that's powerful enough, okay, so we make, what it says is do a duel and then every so often roll a clash roll. Okay, so was 6, went to 5. Where did I put that? 6, so I went to 5. 3 of those are from the other thing, so I needed 2. So I've got 1 success, 1 of my 6s, and that's the patrol done, the 2 wolves done, or wargs done. I'm going to give 1 more success to Duinhir for his duel. So he will get a bonus dice. He is still going to be in a lot of trouble, I suspect, because he's weary. So now I'm just going to pull out the stats for this giant wolf giraffe. Wow, she's got so much endurance. That's awkward. All right, so that 1 extra dice. Oof. Roll. 16. 16 will still do it. And I got myself a 6. Our feat dice was a 10. So, that's good. That actually means a couple of things. He gets a great blow and also a piercing blow. I should have said he gets a... I guess he's just using a middle stance at the moment. So no additional dice, no less dice. So, because he rolled a 10, he gets to do a... My gosh, it shows how long since I've done decent combat. So special damage. Successful attack produces 1 or more of the success dice, which did. Can trigger a special effect. And it's also a piercing... Right, so because it's a 10, it's a piercing blow, and a character hit by a piercing blow must immediately roll a feat dice plus a number of success dice equal to the protection value of their armor to see if they get a wound. So, Giraffe has armor 2, so... Although also that thing... I guess he's just going to be using it to do a heavy blow. Right, so... 17. Protection value of armor. The target number for the roll is equal to the injury rating of the weapon used by the attacker. So the injury rating of the weapon used was 16. So 17, he's fine. Should have used it two-handed. I mean, 1, 2, 3, he was one-handed. 4, 5, 6, he was two-handed. Haha! So two-handed, which means it was not... It needed to be an 18. So the creature then takes a wound. It has might 2. So it's taken 1 of those. Now it also does a piercing blow. Because that's how he's going to spend his success. So the piercing blow... No, sorry, heavy blow. So additional endurance loss equal to your strength rating. Plus 1 to your strength rating on heavy blow. So doing heavy blow is going to be 6, 12, 13. Which means out of 40, so 27 HP remaining. and 1 wound. Actually, that's a pretty good start. Not going to lie. But now it is also Graf's turn. Graf is going to roll a Fangs. So that's 12 plus 1, 2, 3 dice. And she's looking for a parry of 18. Math 16. Okay, so that first strike with the sword has really thrown it off balance. Quite a heavy shot to the shoulder, and so now she's not moving in the same way that she's used to. And as such, she was thrown off balance. And also, she's being harried. As much as we're doing a duel here, everyone is piling, and so she's being harried, trying to move around, but like the spear keeps pushing at her and the bow keeps firing. So she hasn't been able to land a strike. We're going to return to poor old Duinhir, who's still pretty beat up. 11, I don't think it's going to do it. So that success is wasted. D12 plus 1, 2, 3. Is that a 12? It is a 12, so that's a Gandalf. So she only got 10. Again, a stalemate. They're trading blows, but no one's able to actually get past the other to strike anything substantial. However, this time, Duinhir is going to take a forward stance. He's going to be a bit more aggressive on this last attack to try and make an opening for the rest of his company. And narratively, that's what it is. Mechanically, it's just I'm about to roll a clash roll. So, he rolls his swords. He's going to roll an additional dice for it because he's in forward stance, but it does mean that Graf will also roll an additional die. That's awful. But enough. So it is a sloppy strike. However, it's still enough to do additional 6 damage. So it is a biting wound. She looks worse for wear. But as he's thrown himself into this strike, it's going to be, is she able to capitalize on it? 15? No! Yes, that's excellent. Again, he strikes a slash against the body, and as she turns, she thinks she's got him, but then lo and behold, that spear is there again, driving her backwards, and she isn't able to build on that. So those were our 3 rounds of combat. We're going to do our... That's not the book I was looking at. We're going to do our fight for the team. Duel, Archfoe. Right. So they're going to be... they're going to be balanced. D12. It's only the Archfoe, so I'm just going to say that they get their 2 die again. Yeah, let's see how we go. Aiming for a 16, I think it was. Oh, look at that. So 1, they get a success, and they also get an additional success. Can't really reduce their resistance. You know what? I'm going to say, because they have their success, they also get another success, so they can reduce the resistance of the foe. They can also give an advantage to Duinhir. And if you're doing solo and you just had the one character, you'd really want that big climactic, your character overcomes the thing, the foe. But this is a company, so I recognize that this is actually them working together. I think maybe what it is that spear from Gear drove it back, so Graf wasn't able to capitalize and bite Duinhir when he was quite aggressively forward stance. And as it swings around to reposition, getting ready because Duinhir is squaring off again. The arrow from Fimbrithil catches it at the same time that Regin strikes it, and I think finally, as it lunges, Gira kind of just gets the spear and those braces it against her foot, and Giraffe comes down, the weight of this huge warg driving itself onto the spear through its gaping maw, and finishes the second giant warg. So the first warg, the bones that we found, was her brother. Not that would know that. But she was felled, and there's a momentary fire in her eyes with that realization that it is the same spear that felled her brother now finishes her off as well. And I think, let me just check to see if there's anything left in that book. Again, bring it around this side. Okay, so as they exit these caves, and your steps carry you away from the dark hills of Rudar. As you return to Breeland, you feel like the weight of your spirit lighten. You have braved great perils and faced dire enemies, emerging victorious. Yet, a lingering sense remains that your journey is far from over. These trials were merely the beginning. The shadow stirs, awaiting your return to its path. But such thoughts are not for today. Today, the sun warmly caresses your skin, and the birds fill the air with their song. You yearn for rest, a warm bed, a hearty meal, and a tankard of ale shared with fellow patrons at the Prancing Pony. So, let's see if they vanquish Giraffe. Yep, free prisoners. Oh, okay. I guess we might run into those prisoners on the way back to the village, and we get them home, make sure that's all good. Yes, and that is the end of Overhill and Underhill. And honestly, I can't wait to run this for people. It works, I think, with Moria, the way that it handles a company, but I'd really love to see a group of people coming together, bring their own little personalities, and also each of these different characters has different skills, so it would, I think, open up more options, like Menther talking to those kids, I think would do a lot better than Duinhir when he was talking to the kids. Anyway, so look, about 3 hours if you're wanting to run that as a one-shot for people. Thank you for watching this, or thank you for watching the other episodes. I've really enjoyed it. I hope you have too. I have no idea what I'm going to play next, but I have got a huge list. If nothing else, check out the Getting Dicey YouTube. I'm currently guest starring on that in a Dragonbane one-shot where a bunch of goblins who are searching for some treasure at the direction of our orc chieftain, playing with a bunch of my friends and enjoying that. We've done one episode so far. Depending on when you watch this, maybe we'll have more. And yeah, don't forget to take a break, look after yourself, and catch you around.